What is up, guys? It's the seediest of Sundays out here at HQ. So as you probably all are very aware from watching my channel, me Falcon's me pride and joy right here, me daily. So I thought I'd just start this bit of a series that I'm just going to call Daily Mods. And it's just going to be little modifications that I'm just going to do to me Falcon just to make it a lot easier for, you know, my life, a lot more convenient. So as just a daily driver. So I was probably sick of hearing about how much it's an absolute beast, which it is. It's there's still a few things that are just cheap and easy, and little things that you can do that just make life a lot easier when with your daily driver. So I just thought I'd document that, as this Falcon will probably eventually get out of hand one day. But now, one of the very first issues I had with this this vehicle was the music situation. Obviously, I'm not really a big fan of the radio. I don't like listening to Dean Lewis over and over every day. So music was a bit of an issue, and Chunky Photography Oz, I'll put his link up here, actually hooked me up with this aux cord that comes, you can buy them from eBay for the BA. They actually go up and plug in underneath the like the fuse box area there, and you can actually play aux through the AM setting on the stereo. Obviously the problem with me is I've got one of those peasant iPhone 8s which doesn't have an aux input, so it didn't really work for me. So what I did do was go on eBay. I got this here, hands-free car kit from somewhere in China, obviously. It was like $6, I think. And you just plug this into your cigarette lighter and it actually transmits Bluetooth through a radio station. So nice and cheap and easy. If I can get it out with one hand. Just that little dildo there. And you just plug that in. Down there. Turn the car on. Boom. Nice and very good and nice. I like it. So anyway, you just tune this little puppy to whatever one you want to transmit through, tune your radio in, and then Bluetooth to that motherfucker, and then volume up, and it's, you know, kind of good. Sound quality is not really that great, as you'd expect from like a $6 Chinese FM transmitter that probably costs about 10 cents to actually produce. So. But it's yeah, it's better than listening to the radio most days. So I'm pretty happy with that. So that's pretty much the first mod that's getting done, nice and simple and easy. Now I can listen to my own music, and because the BA radio is obviously all integrated, you can't really just remove it. You have to put in another DIN thing down the bottom. It's a pain in the ass. So for the total cost of this mod, which was about, oh, I don't know, probably $7 or something, yeah, rated highly. Great, makes my life way better. Now the second point of call, obviously driving around like brand new dual cabs and four-wheel drives and that sort of thing, often you spoil it with a reversing camera, which makes it way easier to reverse on the trailers, especially if you're trying to hook up trailers on your own. And trying to go back to a vehicle with no reversing camera is extremely difficult. It's a real pain in the ass. So I've got here another eBay special buy, which is basically a reverse camera set. Now this is just an LCD monitor that clips over your mirror like a Broadway mirror would, and it came with this camera, and that together was about $60 off eBay, I think. And then this is just a secondary camera that I bought, which is about $12, because my plan is to put one sort of above the number plate for actually reversing under trailers and that sort of thing, and I want to put one just up on the top somewhere that's always facing backwards for my rear view, because obviously eventually I want to get rape curtains for this thing, and I want to be able to have it full of parts and stuff, and I might not always be able to see out the back window. So I want to always have a camera there so that I can always have the Falcon stocked up or the curtains closed, and be able to see what's behind me and what's going on. So that's going to be installed now. So here's the camera that actually came with the monitor. Nice big chunky bloody piece of equipment by the looks of it. Lovely, look at that. Hopefully nice and clear view. Obviously it comes with your data cable, your video cable, which goes to your unit, and obviously just 12-volt power. Seems pretty simple to install. That's that one. Comes with destructions. Always read the destructions, make sure you're destructioning properly. Obviously the other camera is the same, it's just way smaller, and also this camera has a wider angle, or like a wider field of view on it. So I'm going to use the little one with the wide field of view for the bottom, for actually backing on the trailers, because I feel like the wider field of view is going to be good for that. And the bigger one's going to be just my always reverse facing. In here we've got, you know, a little LCD screen, which is pretty cool, beauty. It's got yeah, just cable there that you run to it, obviously. And it's got actually 2 video inputs. I don't know if you can see there's V1, V2, so when you hit that button it changes to the other camera, so that's how you change from one camera to the other when you're trying to back onto a trailer and whatever. Also comes with instructions and same sort of thing where it's like 12 volt power and, you know, just obviously you got to read your instructions and sort that out. Alright, so first point of call, get in, move your seat right back so you're comfy. Get that out of your way. Now you just want to pop this garnish off. It really literally just pulls off like so. So you're going to want to run your cable for your display unit, which goes over your mirror, pretty much up this A-pillar, and there's enough in this hood lining to just sort of tuck the cable up out of the way. You just run it down, and there's enough cable in them to run it all the way down so that everything's sort of down behind the glove box where it's nice and accessible if you ever need to maintain anything or if anything ever goes wrong. So what I usually do, just get a piece of wire and just stick it down the hole wherever you can fit it, or wherever you want to run your cable.
2 hours later.
And it comes off because it's a fuckwit. Fuck's sake! Oh, fuck you!
6.5 hours later.
Piece of shit. Alright, I'm just way too hungover to deal with this BS and frustration, so I'm just going to continue this later on another day when I have more energy and patience to deal with it. But on a plus side, upstairs is starting to take shape, looking really good. So massive cheers to Brendan and Jake for coming out and knocking that out for us and giving us a hand. So big thanks to those fellas. Everything's looking pretty damn good.
Many months later.
Righto guys, I am back on to daily mods. It's been some weeks since I started this video and lost my shit and quit and didn't want to do it. A lot of to do with that, obviously, you see is from the frustration I had trying to get it through the dash, which I did end up doing, which is fine. But then these actually have too much in them to run the AV video cable head through them. So that was going to be an issue for me because I didn't want to go drilling new holes and putting new grommets in and all that sort of stuff. So what I actually ended up doing was I went to J-Car and got some new AV connectors so that I can cut off the 2 AV leads for the 2 cameras and re-terminate them with some nice steel connectors. And that way I can get them through. I'm pretty sure this side is better, but either way I should be able to get them through either side anyway. And that's going to make my life a lot easier. So that's pretty much what I'm doing now. And then I'm going to run them down this pillar, basically up in that window, under that garnish, down, and then just along the sill up into the footwell where the rest of the cables come out and under the dash. So that's what I'm going to get up to now. Cool, calm and collected. So first thing I got to do is get up all these door sill garnish things. So I'm just going to peel them off, get all that exposed, ready to run me cable up through there. So I got all the interior trims sort of off that I need. And when doing this sort of thing, wire is very much your friend. But now, I had planned on running my cables from front to back because it made more sense to me to do it that way. However, actually, the way these cameras are powered, they actually have another little plug in them for power, which I don't have anything to re-terminate with. But the power cables, where I'll put one inside, you can see here. Fuck's sake. So you can see the power cables have the plug on one end, but the other end's just the non-terminated end. But basically it means I need to run from this end back out. So that's pretty much what's going on here. That's what I'm doing. So to do it properly, you need to basically know where your cameras are going first so you can drill your holes and poke that feed through it. So what I've done is just used a bit of wire to make sure I can actually get down in the door cavity to where I want to mount the camera, which is going to be sort of just here next to the reverse light. And so now I'm going to drill my hole on the back side of the door and try and get it with the wire. and hopefully that works. All right, so someone got it sorted. It's a bit dicky because of the design of this door. I've had to make like an extra hole for serviceability basically. So I put an extra hole on the door, underneath where the flashing is, and you can see up through there's daylight to the hole where the actual cameras are gonna go. So you use this hole to draw through the plugs on the back of the camera. So I can draw them out to here, and then I've put wire through this hole back down to where it's gonna go into the actual car. And I've got my AV and my power cables on that, which are taped onto the wire. So I'm just gonna draw them back through to this hole, leave them hanging, draw them through the 2 holes, leave them hanging. That way I've got somewhere to connect them and shove them up in the hole with the flashing over. Or something along those lines anyway. That's pretty much the plan. And then I'll do something similar for back here for the one that's gonna go where the number plate is, but we'll get there as we get there. So anyway, hopefully this is easy enough to draw through. Sometimes they're really not. It's just a pain. This is just what it is doing this sort of work. So that actually draw through quite easy. I was quite impressed, pretty happy with that. So now I'm just doing basically the same thing for the one that's gonna go down under the num plate. So I'll drill my hole and fed my cable through from the camera under there. And now I've just got my wire down this part of the door to try and draw the AV and power back through, and it'll just go down underneath that. It will be hidden by garnish, should be accessible there. When I draw this through, I'm also going to draw another power through with it. Basically because I have a future mod that I think I might want to do. I actually want to mount LED light to the bottom of the door here, so that if you're hooking up a trailer at night or something, you can open your door, hit your switch, turn on your light, and have sort of light where you're going to be hooking up your trailer and that. So I want to leave a spare power just in there for that. And that way, if I want to do that later on, makes my life a bit easier. So got it all in. As you can see, cables will come down to there, which is nice. So I have to put that camera in, I'll do that later. But for now, it's a matter of trying to get all these wires now inside and up to the footwell. I've got me I've cut my AV ends off. So I'll try and get that through the rubber grommet thing there, and have the rest follow it after that. So just getting them through this rubber grommet now. As you can see, there's not much room in there, so don't try and tape them all to your wire and try and pull them all through, because it'll never work. So if you can see what I've done here. I poke my wire through and I drill my first one through, and then I use the first one to drill the second one, and then the second one to drill the third, and so on. I just keep drawing them like that, one at a time. Just another tip as well, just a little bit of hand cleaner or soap will help with these rubber things like a lot. Any sort of rubber grommets or like little tight spaces you need to get through like this, just a little bit of soap, a hand cleaner or something, and it makes all the difference. It makes it so much easier. So just a pro tip there. But anyway, it's coming along. It's just slow and painful, as yeah, it's just a slow and painful wiring job. So I've got all the wiring up to the front. We've traced a ignition and a constant power from the other side under the dash. So we've run another 2 wires across the dashways to this foot panel where everything's going to get connected up. So it just takes a bit with the test lamp to try and find out what you're doing. So yeah, use all this to power all this up for now, and then we'll work on actually getting the cameras hooked up. So this is the power connector for the little display thing, and it's got an inbuilt 2 amp fuse for constant power, and then it's also got accessories and ground plus 2 video inputs. So obviously you just need constant power for that, and then accessory power for that. You also want the accessory power to power the actual cameras. So this is another power that I ran with the 2 AV cables that's going to actually power the cameras, because the power connectors on them are quite short. So that power runs back up to the back corner, so that can power the cameras. The earths that are actually on the power plugs for the cameras, I'll just find an earth point back there for them on the body. And yeah, likewise here with the earth for this, I'll just earth it to something in here, and then I've got those 2. So and these are my new little connectors, which I need to resolder onto my AV leads, and then plug it all in, and it should work. It should definitely work. If it doesn't work, I'm gonna lose my shit. So there you go, guys, nice and soldered up. I'll tape that over. As far as earth, I just crimped a terminal on it, and I'll just use a Tech screw basically in the foot panel just to make an earth point. And as far as these little connectors go, which you've got to put on the AV, inside the AV is like a red and a black. So when you undo these connectors, you solder your red basically to your pin, and then your black to your sheath or the outer, and Bob's your auntie. Rightio, so I've got the cameras mounted up. It's pretty much what they look like. That's going to just be my reverse facing camera. And this little buddy under here is going to be for backing up into stuff. When mounting this stuff on your car, always basically silicon up your bolt holes, and obviously these holes that I had to drill them that big to get the connector heads through. They're a lot bigger than I would have liked to have drilled, but I didn't have much other options for that. So I will be absolutely pumping those full of silicon, making sure everything's nice and sealed up. But obviously, you want to make sure your camera placement and everything's good first before you go silicon and everything up, because it's a real pain in the ass to change it after you've siliconed all. So basically, call it a dummy fit. So everything's dummy fitted up, everything's connected, all the soldering's done. So now it's pretty much time to get under the dash, connect up the main battery, and start going, having a look how it goes. Hopefully it works. Alrighty, we're all connected, so it's the moment of truth. Oh.
开机，等待连接设备，蓝牙连接成功。
Well, that's not a good start. Oh, I know where there's no signal. I haven't hooked them up at the back yet. I'm kind of glad that I screwed that up. I was starting to get real worried that those AV connections were rubbish, which they might still be, but because I haven't actually hooked up the cameras yet. So, take two, try again. Alright, this time the cameras are definitely hooked up, so let's try again. Oh, look at that. Camera, beautiful. Shut this door and I'll check the angles that they're on, make sure they're going to be alright. Oh well, that's definitely upside down. And that one's somewhat on the piss too. Alright, so I'll fix both the rotations of the cameras. As you can see, it's looking pretty good back there. And I actually just chucked the tow ball in to make sure you could see it. That's not ideal, but it's still going to be good enough to get a trailer onto there pretty well. So, like I would like a little bit more down angle so I could see the tow ball a bit better. But unfortunately, because of where it's mounted, that's as far angled down as it can get. The only other way that I could do it is to take it off where it's mounted on the garnish and actually mount it on the back of the door, which I wasn't too keen on doing. But that's good enough, I reckon. Plus, you sort of want the little bit of extra room to make sure you're coming onto the trailer square. So I'm pretty happy with that, and everything works the way it should. Turn the key off, shuts off, goes away, key back on, and it's back. So pretty happy with that, pretty stoked. So I am going to basically reinstall all my interior garnishes, tidy everything up, and yeah, put everything back together, and then I'll silicon up them holes, make sure it's all sealed. So the holes are all siliconed up, nice and sealed. And everything's back together. Looks beautiful. So, pretty happy with that. Pretty stoked. So, there you have it, guys. That's just a couple of little modifications to basically make daily driving and life a bit easier for myself. Obviously, I'm going to keep this going. There's more little mods I want to do with this Falcon. Obviously, eventually it will get boosted. Yeah, do plan on going a bit apeshit with it, but for now it's about just yeah, you know, little mods to help daily driving and daily life a bit easier. So obviously, not only does silicon seal the holes, it also helps hold on the camera when we're starting to do our 10-second passes. So anyway, guys, cheers for watching. As always, have a good one, and I'll see you next time.